Welcome to the Twinkle Talks EYFS podcast. Working in the early years is busy, funny, messy, and exhausting. Join me, Shana, some of the Twinkle EYFS team, special guest speakers, and other early years practitioners as we talk honestly about our experiences. Whether you're listening for CPD, on your commute, or to help you relax, Twinkle EYFS will share everything you need to know about all things early years. Hello everyone! We are going to do an Instagram live today with 3 guests talking about getting ready for being early years practitioners in September. So let me see if I can find our guests who are joining today. One.
Hopefully this is happening. Accept everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, it's working. This is really good.
This is brilliant.
I think I've done a TikTok live before, but never an Instagram live. Have you guys done that?
No, never.
Oh, okay. Where's Matt? Come on, Matt. Where's it gone? There it is. Accept. Go live. Come on, fingers crossed we can do this. At least I can see like all 4 of you as well. Like it'll be nice to have actually good framing. Did you all get ready for today? Did you all? I didn't.
Time. No, I didn't have time either, actually. Yeah.
I think you look marvellous.
My hair out so I don't look like I've been dragged for a bush.
Why won't it let Matt on? Come on, Matt. I've accepted him like 4 times. So hi everybody who's come to join us. Very excited to have you here. If you don't know already, my name is Shana and I work for Twinkle Early Years. And we are joined by some wonderful guest speakers today because we wanted to help you guys get ready, basically, for September. Because some of you might have the news already that you will be joining early years. Maybe it's in a private setting. Maybe you're becoming a childminder. Maybe you're coming into a school and you're down in nursery and reception. So let us know where you're going to be next September, and we're going to help you out as much as we can. So we should have 3 guests here. Matt, EYFS with Mr. S. It says you can't join at the minute, so keep trying, Matt. I don't know why it's not working. But while we're waiting for our lovely 3rd guest to join us, why don't you introduce yourself to our lovely listeners and people who have joined us today, and introduce yourself.
Want to go first, Amy? Hi, I'm Amy and I'm 27. I started working as a nursery assistant, not qualified, back in 2015, I think. And then I gained my level 2, level 3, and then I became a senior, room leader, 3rd in charge. Then I left to become a nanny for a couple of years, which I loved. That was pre-COVID and I had sole charge of the boys, but then COVID hit and I think it just went downhill because the parents were at home and it was difficult working with them around and looking after the kids, and they would run up to the parents. And then the boys' school that I went, they used to take me to school in the morning, they offered me a job as a 1-to-1, and then it just went on from there, and now I'm in a TA in a nursery at the same school, which I just love it. It's brilliant.
What journey, gorgeous.
Right. Thank you. Leanne, I won't say how old I am. I've been in education, I think this is year 22 now. I started out as a TA, then I started as a 1-to-1 and then a TA in the class, and then I did my high level teaching assistant, and then I was taking classes, and then I also did PPA cover doing performing arts, and then I was employed as an unqualified teacher probably 10 years, and I was a late bloomer to getting my teaching degree just because life happens. So, and then qualified probably the last it's now 3 years now, so
they say qualified, unqualified, but I think we're all qualified in whatever way. I've been in preschool and reception, year 1. September I'm in reception, so I've just finished preschool. So now
That's
exciting.
so great, thank you. And Matt's able to join us as well now. Matt, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Matt. I'm currently a nursery teacher. I'm taking my nursery up to reception next year, so I'm transitioning into reception. I started my career as a TA when I was 16, and then I qualified as a teacher 2 years ago. So, yeah.
Loving it still?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So now I think we've got a really good mix of guests here today, guys, because they've clearly done every job in early years. So if there's a question that we can't answer, I am going to eat my hat. Okay, so if you are listening live, please put some questions in the comments and let us know what you'd like to know about starting in early years, whether it's a TA, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a one-to-one, whether it's a nursery manager, like whatever that is, ask us your questions and see if we can help you out. But I wanted to start with first, guys. Even though technically we're starting in September, right, we all know, especially in early years, you kind of have to start the ball going now. So what kind of things are you guys doing now to help you prepare for September?
Home visits, getting to know the children, transition days, getting to know the long-term plan, and getting your head around, and the best of all, classroom design, figuring out how you want your classroom.
Love that.
Yeah, class lists and confirming those, like Matt said, transitions, speaking to your new TAs if you've got new TAs in the class, if you're the teacher, just like getting to know if you don't know them, and especially if it's a new class that you've not been in. If you've been in like year 1, for example, you're going into reception, it's something a bit different, just finding out how everyone does anything, seeing if there's any changes to the topics for the next year. Real planning ahead makes a big difference. Yeah, it does help.
My nursery teacher actually goes to their current settings, and she goes and observes them and speaks to the practitioners there. And then we have the children come in. I think they come in for like 2 mornings they do. And then we just stagger them in. So September we'll only have like half the class in for 2 days, and then the other half join in with us. But we've just been, this week we've just been sorting out resources and things, and yeah, all the exciting bits.
I have to say it is a really exciting time of the year, isn't it? But it is also a little bit crazy because you kind of got 2 cohorts in one at the same time in your head. So whether you're in year 6 right now, you do have to kind of think ahead to September. And like you say, we've got to contact those families now. I think one of the big things I remember when I was working in early years is doing the parent presentation evening for all our new families starting school. Has anybody done those yet?
I don't do those, so the teacher does. But she was saying it was nice to see the parents and get an understanding of like what they know, and it's so different. So being in a private day nursery to a school nursery, it's completely different. As in, like, so one of the parents asked, well, do you give Calpol? But obviously at private day nursery, they all sign a thing to say you can administer Calpol and give them a call. But at obviously schools, we don't do that. And then they were asking about sleeps, but obviously at a school nursery, they don't sleep. So it's really different.
I think also,
Depends on your
go on, Matt.
Go on. It depends on your setting as well, because some schools do that. It depends on your medication policy. Yeah. But we did meet the teacher, but we did it as the whole team. So they got to meet the teaching assistants, the teacher, they got to meet the safeguarding lead, the SENCO. So we made sure they got to meet the whole, because we call it the EYFS family, so they got to meet all of us.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, we've had ours, and pretty similar. Yeah, meet the parents. I think it's one tip I would always say is build up a really good relationship with your parents. Always have those conversations with them, because if and when there's a difficult conversation you need to have, it's not a surprise to them, or it's not awkward to talk to them, or you don't shy away from it. Because I've learned from experience that parents appreciate honesty, and obviously it's how you talk to them, and letting them know along the way and saying, well, okay, what could we do and work together using that. I think that really eases it, because sometimes in this job I think the parent side can be quite difficult, and I'm a parent as well as a child, so I understand both sides, but it can be quite hard because your child is in the hands of these people all day, most of the year, and you're trusting them. So having that good relationship, I think, is, for me, is like the top one of the top things to think about.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a great tip, especially like you say, if we're starting now already, a lot of the year groups will have transition days, but like you say, we might have a couple of stay and plays over in July, or the meet the parent evenings and things like that. And I think it's a unique challenge for early years, is there is a lot of paperwork for parents to fill out, especially in terms of like enrolling on a school. Like the packs are this thick, and it can be really overwhelming for families to try and be like, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm supposed to put here. So I think being okay with you, especially if you're new to early years, not knowing those answers, because it is a bit of a shock when you get there, like, oh yeah, I've never had to help a parent with this before. But go and ask, the business managers, if you're in a school or a private nursery, they'll know what needs to be sent off to the local council, etc., and things like that. And like you say, home visits sometimes start in July, sometimes they start in September. So what have you guys done? And also, what would your top tips be for doing home visits?
So our home visits start next week.
Wow.
And we're not going there to inspect the house. We're going there to see what the parent knows about the child and how the child interacts in their home, in their home life, and we're going to see if there's anything that we can put into our provision to help the transition be easier. And we just need to get that across, that we're not there to inspect their houses. That's not our job. Our job is to build a good relationship with the parents, as Mel was saying. It's the relationship with the parents is key from the start, and if you've got that, you'll have it all year, and you'll see the progress will get better and better as the year goes on. So
but we don't currently do home visits, but I've done them previously, and it's and we do try and, like you say, tell the parents, okay, we're not inspectors. We're not there to tell you how you live. We're just there just to get to know you and to understand that a home environment is where your child is the most comfortable. So hence having the home visits to go and see them, and in a not comfortable environment, and just chatting for them to feel comfortable to ask you questions and you to let them know things. And yeah, like the start of that long relationship, positive relationship, hopefully.
we always ask if we can take a photo as well, so because we've got something called a Remember When book. So when they first start nursery or reception, we can show them, oh, this is when we came to visit you, and you were doing this, this and this, and make links to the home life. And then we ask them to send in a family photo that we display in our home corner, or like as the pets, so we can show them, oh look, there's mummy, there's daddy, there's granny, there's Fred the dog.
I've actually never done a home visit. Been confused over the years.
Ooh.
Visit, never. We've had loads of settling in sessions, especially at a private day nursery. They tend to do like I think it's one with the parents coming in, and then another without the parents there. And then if they're a bit emotional, then we offer more settling in sessions. But I've never done actually a home visit, so it's really interesting hearing about that. And I think that should be something that we should implement maybe actually into school. So I like that idea.
That's so funny. And this is about early years, isn't it? Like, it's so different no matter what, it really depends on what setting you're going into, which kind of shapes your experience. And I remember, I think I did home visits in every setting that I was in. And I absolutely loved it, because I can see how like parents and carers and families would be really intimidated, like, oh my gosh, I better wash the dishes, her teacher's coming or something like that. But it's like, it's really not that at all. We just know that the transition, well, yeah, exactly. We know the transition is such a big step for the children. I mean, think about it. They're only 2, 3, 4 years old. And especially after COVID, this is the first time they're going to be leaving their home. It's a massive step. And so we kind of want to meet them where they're at. And so we get to see them, like Leanne said, in their most comfortable environment. And my top tip is to always bring stuff from the classroom. So maybe it's like colouring pencils or a special toy or something fun. And particularly for our children or, our families who think their children might be very anxious coming in, you can give them a little thing and say, oh, can you look after that for me over the summer? And then can you give it back to me when you come and start in September? And it gives them a little responsibility and a reason to be like, oh, yeah, I'm excited to go back to nursery or reception or preschool because I want to give this back to my teacher. And so it just gives them a little bit of something to look forward to. And like you say, starting in a new setting is a really big change for all of us. So that's starting in September. How does it work for you guys? Do you go straight in? Do you stagger it? Do you wait? Or, how does it work? Let me know.
We stagger. So with nursery, they all start on the same day, but they start with doing an hour first. Then the next day they'll do 2 hours. Then the next day they'll do 3 hours. And if they're a 30-hour child, then by the following week, we'll try and get them to do the whole day. But we'll do it individual to the child, so not all the children will start. It'll be to the children's needs, and then reception we'll do until dinner time the first day. Then we'll do until 2 o'clock the second day, and then we'll try a full day. But then the ones that have been 30 hours in nursery can start full-time straight away because they've already done that, so they're used to that. But then if they come from another setting, we still give them the option to phase in, because it's a big thing for a 2, 3 or 4 year old to start somewhere new straight away. And it's a big jump even if you're moving from nursery to reception, because some of them are only used to doing 3 hours and then they've got to go to 6 hours, and it's a big jump for us.
Yeah.
And the parents, it's a big thing for the parents. They're used to picking them up at certain times. You'll find that more parents are upset than children are.
Oh, yeah.
And a tip I would say is for parents-wise, to parents, is when you show obviously that you understand, but also to say, almost be a little bit like, okay, just go, Mummy. Honestly, you can, even if you wait across the road for 10 minutes and we'll phone you, or an hour, give us that, just go, because the longer you hang on to them, the more anxious they become, the more anxious you become, and then that separation is even harder. So I always feel like, as hard as it must feel inside, and you do get it, you just be like, just go, and we'll look after them. And if they are that distraught and it's that awful, we will contact you and you can come straight back, because most of them won't go far. So those, it's just that, let go, peel the fingers off, let's go, and just let them try. And most of the time, they will be okay. And I think also to know, if you're new to early years, to be like, oh, they were fantastic today, their first day was amazing, but don't expect the next day to be the same, because once it sinks in, a lot of the children will be like, oh, I've got to come back, and then that's when they start to get upset. So being yourself as a practitioner, thinking, hang on, oh, I thought they were fine, but knowing that it might not be the same the next day, it might take a bit longer.
Yeah. But for our transitions, we do, like I said, half the class will start one day, and then they have another day, and then the third day in, the other half come in. But a lot of the children that we get, they're all at nurseries at a full time. They're in every day, 7 till 6. So they start their extended hours on the first day. If they're in that first group, they'll stay the whole day. And that's how it's always been at my school. But I think every child is completely different on how they settle. Like, we have a couple of children that are still actually settling in now, but they only do morning sessions because they were always at home with like mum, dad, brothers and sisters and siblings. So yeah, every child is completely different. But a massive top tip is, when dropping off, again, if they are distraught, we always give them a call and say, they're fine now, they're playing with the cars. Because I think they always do it as well to make the parents feel guilty that they're leaving them there, and then as soon as they come to the door, they're fine. It's so funny. me? Like how they, and I think it's because they know, and they like latch on, and they know that, oh, my mum's getting upset, so I'm gonna like wind up a bit more. They know, they're clever children. They're so clever.
They really are. And I think this is a top tip for early years practitioners starting anyway. That first 1, 2, possibly 3 months, you are going to have screaming, crying children. Stock up on your paracetamol, all right? Stock up on your tissues. It's okay. It's a massive transition for these families. And you know, I think having that emotion so raw isn't a bad thing. Yes, it's going to hurt your ears a little bit, but it's just a big emotion, and it's okay for our kids to express that. If you're worried about children and you're not actually quite sure where the limit is, like Amy said, are they just putting it on because they can see the parents still there, and then as soon as the parents are gone, they're fine? Or is it something that they are really dealing with separation anxiety? Always go and speak to your Senko, go and speak to maybe a manager who's done this before. Like, they'll be able to help you. And also just let the parents be super honest with you in those home visits, or in that, you know, are they feeling worried? Are their kids likely to feed off of that worry, or actually are they going to be okay? So just have that open communication and that paracetamol. It's all good. It's fine. We'll all get through it together. And I think it's a really important part of the process, and it's that bonding as well, like you say, because the children are then trusting someone other than their family. And that's really hard. I mean, that's hard for me as an adult, okay? I don't trust nobody. But as a 3-year-old, you know, it's like, who on earth are you taking me away from my mother and my father and my family and my carers? So it's just a process, but after that, it really will get better. And, you know, kind of once that settling period is more stable, I have had times where it has gone up to Christmas, and that's just something that we work through. One of the things that really threw me, I think, especially as like an ECT, was, we called it NQT back then, but you have all these plans, don't you? Yeah, I'm just an old lady, that's what it is. But you want to make a really good first half term, don't you? And make it super, super fun and do all these things, and then you've just got screaming, crying children, and it just does not matter what you do, because that's not where they're at now. Like, what would your advice be in terms of planning for that first half term, especially?
Don't do it.
Yeah.
There's no, honestly, there's no point in planning for the first 2 or 3 weeks until you've got to know the children, and it should be child-led learning first. So, like, we made this decision this year to let them walk into learning, so they could walk in and access the environment. We wasn't even bothered if they put the coats or the lunch boxes away. They could just put them on the thing on the floor and go and play, as long as they were happy, and then we'd sort the lunch boxes and everything out after. We'd rather them walk into learning and be able to settle themselves. And then I don't think we started planning until week 5 this year, because we wanted to get a good grasp of the children. We wanted to get a baseline of them before we started planning, because there was no point in us planning all during this 6 weeks holiday and putting loads of things in place and then it not working.
For us, it's not stringent. I'd say a definite tip is don't be really strict with your planning, whether it's the beginning of the year, middle, end, because there's always something that throws a spanner in, and I think that's what early years is about. So you all should be ready to just adapt and change no matter, and don't be distraught when you think, I've spent hours on that, I've really thought that through, and sometimes it's just moving it around. And if the children aren't engaged in it, then oh, they will just do that, or they change it to how they do it to something completely different that you had an idea of, then go with it and beat yourself up about it. And those first settling weeks, it's just loose. It's about them getting to know the environment, knowing that it's their place, it's theirs, it belongs to them, and almost going along with them and they help you to set it up and get it ready and be like, okay, this is where we're going to do this, or this is where we're going to do that, so they should have some ownership over it. So,
I'd say don't worry.
Don't panic.
No, you go.
I'd say don't worry if your first classroom layout doesn't work either. Each classroom is different to every cohort, so the classroom design that I've got this year might not work for next year's cohort, or it might not work halfway through the year. Be flexible to move things around, because some children might see one area as a construction area, whereas in your head it's the art area. If they want to construct in it, let them construct in it. I wouldn't go for set areas. Let the learning be fluid.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd agree.
We do like the same, where it's all child led. We might set up a few little activities, but we ask the children what they would like, so they get to explore all the resources in the classroom. If they want to go outside, we'll have a bit of free flow, so it's all child led. And then I think into like week 3 we go into our all about me topic, so we get to know, we use the Twinkle resource, the house, so they can draw who lives in the house, mummy, daddy, and we do a lot of things about all about me, who lives with us, and holidays, and that's really nice because the children are able to express themselves and say what they do at home. And the home corner is a definite, it's just amazing seeing the children how they use the things in the home corner, like the kettle. And I mean, one child said to me before, I don't have cups of tea at my house, I only have Prosecco, which was like the
I want to move into that house.
Prosecco.
Brilliant.
Have the bottle, please.
Oh, I want to move in. Sounds great.
But yeah.
I'd have a mix of resources as well, like old resources and new resources. Like if you're gonna have a phone, have an old-fashioned phone, but also have a mobile, because some of them won't know what an old-fashioned phone is, but then you can link it to your past and present.
They're like, what?
There you go. There's loads of ideas.
Real.
I talk a lot with my hands.
When they try and touch the screen, isn't it? And you're like, that's not how it works. You got to press the buttons. They're like, what's that? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
All right.
we've got a typewriter,
Ooh.
and
Ooh.
they were amazed to know what a typewriter was.
Yeah.
It's so cool, isn't it? And I think that's actually something really good to pick up on is when you're thinking of perhaps if you are introducing activities or not, or you're looking at child-led, use those opportunities when your parents and your families and your children come in for those parent presentation evenings or the home visits or whatever, to ask them what they're interested in, because then by the time they come into your settings, you've got things that are ready. Perhaps you've got a child that really likes Lego. Make sure you get the Lego out on the first day, perhaps one of them's really into space. Cool, let's go get the rockets out in the water area. Pick up on those cues so that the children can see familiar things that that's going to make them comfortable and settle them in more and interest them. But actually on that, you were already talking about your environment. So obviously an early years classroom, an early years setting looks very different to Key Stage 1 to Key Stage 2. There's no tables, no sitting down. It's not how it works. So I think is one of the biggest jobs is setting up your environment. What would your top tips be in terms of setting up your classrooms ready?
Well, we've got, obviously in my early years, I've got indoors and outdoor setting. What I've learned over the years is for inside is to keep as much of that set up as possible, because outdoors you obviously often have to put things away because of weather and things like that, but at least each day you won't have to set up lots of areas, especially if maybe someone's off sick or you end up on your own. So I always tend to have pretty much there. Or we also started with outside is to have trays for things, so we know what the kind of ideas of what we want for that week, so everything's already set up in the tray, so whoever comes in, even if it's not us, they just take them out and set it up outside. So yeah, I tend to try and do what you can the night before and then set up. Usually the outside takes us a bit longer where we are, so we do that the next morning or each day.
We've got it so anything they can see that's at their level they can access. So what's on the table, if they don't want it, they know they can put it away. If they want to get the paint, we've got squeezy bottles so they can get their own paint out, so the paint's accessible all the time. We get them to make their own Play-Doh on a Monday, so we do that for a morning and an afternoon session. So we start with the adult, teaching them how to make it, and then by now they can make their own, and then we transfer. We transition into using clay, so they can make their own models and leave it to dry, and then paint it. We've got spaces where they can put their models if they're continuing working, because some children won't want to put their models away. They want to continue it, so we've got shelves where they can put it on and it says work in progress.
Right.
And then our displays are for the children. The displays aren't for the adults. And a lot of displays become wallpaper if it's not what a child wants to put up. Are they going to look at it, especially in nursery? Because when they first come, they won't be able to read. So those displays are for the children's work. Even if it's a squiggle on a piece of paper, that is a child's work, and they are proud of that work, display that work and show them.
Yeah.
Lots of children's work everywhere. Very
Yeah.
important.
We have it's called like a working wall in our classroom. So each child has a square and anything that they're like proud of, or like any assessments we put up. And it's really nice. So in September, their squares are like bare, but by now, like everything's full. And kids are like, can you squeeze this up? And you're like covering up work, but you're squeezing it in. And it's just so lovely to see. And the amount of drawings I have of children that they've given me over the years, I've like got them on my fridge as well. But it's just so lovely. It is.
It really is. And you know what? I'm getting a little bit like, oh, I want to go back into class. This is like my favourite time of year because you're doing all the amazing stuff with the current cohort and doing all the graduations and all the fun stuff at the end. But then for me, getting ready for a new cohort is my favourite time of year. And I'm a bit of an organised queen. So I love setting up new areas and new classrooms. And it's just really inspiring to see what other people are doing. And if you didn't know already, we're actually doing a competition starting next week called Early Years or EYFS Areas in Action, where you can take pictures of your areas that you've already set up, and if you send them to us, tag us in it, then you can be put into a ballot to win a prize for that area. So you can either join in and do it if you set up your areas already, or follow it if you have no idea what to do. Follow it, because you guys are incredible at setting up the areas. I get tagged in so many things and I'm like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that before. Look at the creative way they've done that construction area. Look at the amazing way they've done that math area. And join in with the community and have a look. But also on the flip side of that, be aware of Pinterest.
Oh.
It's good. Be aware of Instagram. It's good, but is it practical, and can your children use it? Sometimes the things that look amazing are great, but also are the kids using it? You might spend hours, this is it, right? You might spend hours, and I did this, making a beautiful tuff tray, right? You're all laughing because you've all done this. Farm, right? Little seeds for the little grass, and, you know, setting all the animals in little places, and what can you do? In 2 seconds it was ruined. Yeah, but that's the point. Yeah, that's the point. The kids are using it. So yes, it's amazing to have these beautiful areas, but also think about the practicality as well. And you know what? Don't be afraid of mess, because it's early years, it's going to happen. So yeah, check out our early years areas in action giveaway starting next week, either to come in and win some prizes for your areas, or to check out what everybody else is doing, because you're going to get some cracking ideas there. Now, obviously, there's a lot going on in terms of what we've talked about already. We're going to do 2 things, and then we're going to wrap it up and see if we've got any questions at the end. But I wanted to talk about the summer. Obviously, there's lots going on at the minute, and there's going to be a lot going on in September and October. And for that first half term, I think it's one of the trickiest. So the summer, I think, is really important for us to rest, recuperate, look after our well-being and things like that. What are your top tips for looking after yourself over the summer?
Take time for yourself. I only go in 1 or 2 days during the summer. When I first started, I'd go in for a whole week, but not anymore. I go in I think I went in 1 day this year, and that was only to move around things in my classroom because I was new to the school, and I didn't really need to go in to do that, if I'm honest, but I just wanted to do that so I was mentally prepared. But don't feel pressured by seeing other people going in on Instagram or wherever you follow on Twitter. Take time for yourself, because it is going to be a busy first half term. Like, all you'll do is eat, sleep, repeat. So
definitely outside time, fresh air, spending time with family and friends, and definite me time. And just, it's not easy to switch off, because I know we get holidays, but it's not easy to switch off, because you might go out and be like, oh, that would be good for my classroom, or that'd be good, but making like that real concerted effort to be like, no, this, even if you have to put it in your calendar. So this week I'm just doing this for me. I'm not even going to think about school. Next week I might think and really do that, because like you said, it whizzes by, and then the first term is just so crazy. You'll be exhausted, burn out. You don't want to burn out.
You could have a social with your new staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get to know your new
Yeah.
team. Shauna loves the social.
We have a lot. we have a lot of socials coming up actually. Like the next, so what, we're 2.5 weeks away from some holidays, so we've got a load of socials coming up. But what we've been doing is the children have been really calm, and they've just been engaging and loving all the activities in the morning. So whilst they're busy, we've been getting on with a few little jobs. So we've been like organising our drawers and sorting out and binning things, just so we know that, oh, we don't have to come in the summer holidays, and we can literally just relax and unwind. The first week of summer holidays, I'm a bit busy because I'm getting married the first week. So that, thank you. It's going to be really, really busy. But no, I'm really excited, and I just can't wait to just relax and not have to get up to an alarm. And I love exercising as well, so I always go to a bounce class like twice a week or once a week. But I can't wait to spend time with family and catch up with friends, and not have to worry about planning or what I'm going to wear tomorrow for work, or if I've got enough clothes, because by the time I get in from work I'm just exhausted.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Don't wear your best clothes.
Don't wear whites either. There's no point. Just don't do it.
Change your clothes in your car, because you never know what is going to happen. And I've got a spare change of clothes, socks, the whole outfit, because you just don't know what is going to happen.
I've got two. Yeah, two. Because I had once, a whole day of Punamis, and I'm not kidding you. I mean, I was non-stop. It was a lot. So just prepare for that. But yeah, really good points from all of you.
I've been puked on, weed on, glittered on, paint. I've had the lot. But if I don't come home dirty, I'm not. I was like, have I had a really good day at work? I'm not a little bit dirty.
This is what we tell the parents of early years children as well. Like, I'm really sorry the uniform is destroyed. They really enjoyed the mud kitchen today and decided to take off the overalls. I'm really sorry. So we all got to do it.
All weathers too. I always come prepared. Always have like a little pack away anorak in your bag and your welly boots, because like you just don't know. Like one day it could be pouring down with rain, and the kids are all a bit cooped up inside. And one thing I hate is being stuck inside. I love being outdoors. So when it is raining, I'm like, all in one's on, welly boots on, we're going for a splash around the playground, and it's just brilliant. And the snow, we're really blessed. We've got the massive common right opposite our school. Well, actually, we are on this common. We are. So we went out on the common and made snowmen and snow angels. So let's come fully prepared with everything, every all weathers.
Fully prepared. I love it. And I think another thing about the summer as well is that obviously a lot of different people relax and recuperate in different things, and I don't think there's a right way to do it. So if your summer holiday looks like relaxing, switching off, literally getting rid of those emails and not even looking until you enter that door at whatever time on the first day, no shame, you do you. But also, if you're one of those people that actually gets anxious and would rather plan ahead so that the first half term or the first week or whatever it is isn't as overwhelming for you, you also do you. There is no shame in doing what is right for you. Just because some other people, go on holiday or they switch off doesn't mean that you should force yourself to do that. And I think a really good thing for everybody to do who's new to early years is build a community of people. So I think Twinkle are actually really quite good at this. Is we've got loads of Facebook groups. We've got a nursery practitioners group, reception practitioners group, early years practitioners group, baby room group, room leader group, toddler group, childminder group. We've got lots of group trainees and ECT groups as well. Please just go and join those groups and chat with other people, because a lot of those groups, we're in there. We're on Instagram as well. I message you three quite a lot. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh yeah. But send us messages. Yeah. I'm worried about this. I've got this. And if we can't answer you in the groups, one of your peers will. Community is so big in education as a whole. I think early years do it really, really well. So make the most of it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That's what we're here for. That's literally my job. Literally, my job is to be here for you. So please don't, worry about bothering me. Doesn't matter what time of night it is. I'll get that message eventually. So last thing from everybody, I think, your best top tip, just about anything in general, in case we've missed anything. What would be your top tip overall?
I say delegate.
Oh.
Don't be afraid. Okay, and share, and don't feel like you have to do it all yourself. And people are obviously different people. Sometimes you just really I really know what I want to do this. But in early years, there's so much going on all the time. Don't be afraid to go, oh, actually, could you do that? And use the strengths of your team. Everyone's got different skills and strengths. Use those, because then the weight is a bit less, because you feel like, okay, I've spread that out and we can all do this together and we can all push this together, and don't feel like it's all on just yourself, and then you're just burning out and then you're ill. So just, delegate and share, and teamwork.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. No question's a silly question. And make friends with the office staff, because they know everything.
And they can get you printer credits.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah. I think like both what you both said, delegate, and like if you are finding the workload, especially towards the end of the summer term, things are getting busy, your to-do lists are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, to say to someone, can you help me do this? Because the worst thing you want now before going on summer holidays is getting really stressed up and really heightened with all the workload and pressure. That to get help, ask questions. The nursery team, we're all really good, so we'll say, who's got what on jobs to do this way? Are you all right doing that? Do you need help? And delegating as well. Even getting the kids to do jobs for you. I mean, my kids love a job. So when I was organising the arts and crafts, I said, we need to take all the dirty bits out, all the broken bits, take them all out. And they just love a job. So they will help me do that. So ask kids as well.
Beautiful.
There's my office staff commenting too, right, Matt? He knows where everything is.
Beautiful. I think my top tip would be, I think going back to maybe that beginning bit, where we were talking about planning. Teach the children how to use the space, before we even get to topics about, whatever they're interested in. Actually, do they know where the toilet is? Can they use the toilet? Can they ask for help? Do they know where the snack area is? Do they know how to take certain toys out? Do they know how to put them back? And it's getting that established routine in. Forget about the topics at the minute. That's when they're ready for it. At the minute, they don't actually know how to use this new social environment, because at home, whole different set of rules. At their childminder, at their preschool, at their baby room, whole different set of rules. They're in a new room now. I used to literally take my key worker group, right, when they would stop, screaming. And we'd go around the different areas and be like, right, this is a creative area. What can you see? Look, the trays are labelled. Can you see the picture of it? Look, that's where this goes. Let's take it all out and let's make a mess. They loved that bit. And I was like, right, let's put it back again. And, it's just doing things like that and just making it fun. But I think teaching the children how to use the space, how to communicate their needs, how to make sure that they can trust you and communicate with you what they need as well, I think is the top tip for me. So I just want to say a massive thank you to Amy, Leanne and Matt for joining me tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. You are fountains of knowledge. And for everyone who's listening, who is, whether actually you're starting in early years or you've been in early years for ages, this is your reminder that you are in a safe, welcoming, wonderful community full of people who are cheering you on. And we're all in the same boat as well. And you know what? Those kids are lucky to have you. So if you ever forget that, come back to this live, watch it again and remind yourself how cool you are. All right? But you're all amazing. Amy, Leanne and Matt, we should say goodbye and have a lovely evening.
Have a lovely day, guys, as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
So that's it for today's episode. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you would like to join in or would like to know more, then come and find us on our social media sites. We have a Facebook page, Facebook groups, an Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, and YouTube. All the links of where to find us will be in our podcast description. Come and join the conversation. And whatever you're doing today, I hope you have a great day.